everybody! So today I am going to be doing my July wrap-up. I have just lost all track of time at this point. I swear I thought it was still June for half of this month. Anyways, on to the books that I've read. I think I read 6 books. 6 books. I swear I read more. Guess not. Apparently I only read 6. I thought I read 7, but whatever. The first book I read in July was Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This is the first ever Jane Austen book that I've read. I own a ton of her books. I even own multiple copies of the same books, but I've never read any of them, and I actually got confused. I thought I had to read this book for school, and then about halfway through reading it, I realized I didn't have to. So if it wasn't for that, I probably still wouldn't have read this book, but whatever. Anyways, I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars. I probably would have given it more 1 star, but I figured because it's such a beloved classic, I would give it 2 stars. I'm just not a big classic person, and I find the writing really difficult, so I just didn't personally enjoy this book. I only read about 100 or so pages of it until I decided to listen to the audiobook. It was just taking me such a long time to get through this book. Next, I read Fairest by Marissa Meyer. This is a short story novella that goes along with the Lunar Chronicles. This follows Queen Lavanna before Cinder and all that takes place. And I actually gave this book 5 out of 5 stars, which was kind of surprising. I've heard mixed things about this book, so I wasn't really sure how much I was gonna like it, but I really loved this book. This story was so beautiful and haunting. It almost felt a little bit like I was reading a thriller or a horror or just some kind of really creepy, haunting kind of book. I don't know if it was because of the fire aspect, without spoiling anything, the whole fire aspect of this book, because that's something that kind of creeps me out in real life. So I don't know if that just affected me while reading this book. Either way, I absolutely enjoyed it. Then I read Winter by Marissa Meyer, and this is the final book in the Lunar Chronicles, and I believe I gave this 4 or 4.5 out of 5 stars. I did still really enjoy it, but it just was a little bit long for me. That's why I didn't give it a full 5 stars. And also, I've just never been a big fan of the fighting or the planning that goes into the fighting and the wars. That's just never been an interesting thing for me. But I still really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a great conclusion to the series. I am kind of sad that it's over though. Ugh, I just loved the Lunar Chronicles so much. Next, I read Lucky in Love by Casey West. This is her newest novel. You guys know that I have read and adored all of Casey West's contemporary books. I haven't read Pivot Point or Split Second yet, but I do want to get to those really soon. This book follows a girl called Maddie, and on her 18th birthday, she buys a lottery ticket and ends up winning millions of dollars in the lottery. And she thinks winning all this money will solve all of her problems, but it actually creates some new ones. I love this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The only reason I didn't give it a full 5 stars was because I liked the romance aspect of it, but there wasn't a lot of it. The main focus of the story was just about her winning the lottery, and I just kind of wanted more out of the romance. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. The next I read Stars Above by Marissa Meyer, and this is a collection of novellas that also go along with the Lunar Chronicles, and I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. As with any kind of collection of short stories, some of them I gave higher ratings than others, so I'll actually just go through all the novellas and tell you what rating I gave each of them. So the first one was Keeper, which followed Scarlet and her grandma, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. Then there was Glitches, which followed Cinder when she went to live with her new family when she was first adopted, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Then there was The Queen's Army, which followed Wolf, which I gave 2 out of 5 stars. Wolf by far is my least favorite character, so that's why I gave that such a low rating. Then Carswell's Guide to Being Lucky, I really enjoyed that one. Thorne is my favorite character, so I gave that 4 out of 5 stars. Then After Sunshine Passes By follows Cress, which Cress is also one of my favorite characters, so I gave that 4 out of 5. The Princess and the Guard followed Winter, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. Then there was The Little Android, which followed a different android character. At first I thought it was following Aiko, but it follows a different character, and I gave that 2 out of 5 stars. That one just kind of confused me and bored me a little bit, so I didn't really like that one. Then there was The Mechanic, which follows Prince Kai, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. And then there was Something Old, Something New, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. That one was so good. Overall, I gave this book maybe even like 4.5 out of 5 stars. I don't know. That last novella, that just like made all of it. And the last book I haven't actually finished yet. I'm filming this video kind of early. It's only July 30th, so I still have like a day and a half to finish this book. But that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Less than 200 pages left, so I'm pretty sure I'll be able to finish it before the end of tomorrow. And even though I haven't finished it, I am pretty sure on the rating I'm going to give it, and that is 3.5/4 stars. I'm also debating whether I'm just going to do a full review of this book because I do have quite a bit of thoughts on this, but basically, the reason I'm not giving it a very high rating, I'm going to blame on the fact that I didn't read the Grisha trilogy first, because this takes place after that and it's in the same world, and I feel like there were a lot of like references to events in the Grisha trilogy or even like characters that I just didn't get. And even the world, like the world is not very well explained. It's one of those books that just kind of chucks you into it. So for the first like 200 or so pages of this book, I just found myself being kind of confused. There are also a lot of characters in this book. It is so hard to keep track of them all. But the characters are really what like makes the book. Like these characters are so awesome and lovable. And you guys know that that's a big thing for me, that I have to really like connect to these characters and love these characters in order to enjoy the story. And also, to be honest, for like the first 200 or so pages, the story kind of bored me. So yeah, that's why I didn't give it a higher rating. But yeah, so these were all of the books that I read in July. As per usual, leave me a comment down below and let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, and also let me know what your favorite book was that you read in July. Mine was probably Fairest, to be honest. And yeah, these books are really heavy, so I'm going to put them down. That is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more of my videos, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!